We're Driving Technology, presented by Cisco. I am Scott Walker, and of course joined as always by Michael Breed. And let's break down the field a little bit as we get closer to this 120th US Open. And let's start with the #1 player in the world. The best of the best are here, but he has been on a tear, of course dominant at the Northern Trust. And in terms of the playoffs, he has been the best in terms of strokes gained, off the tee, and of course approaching the greens. Why is he going to be the factor this week?
Well, it's the driver, and that's what it is. I mean, he has a tied second at the PGA. He wins, then he finishes second to Jon Rahm's 66-foot bomb, and then he wins the Tour Championship. Guy is now PGA Tour Player of the Year because of the driver. The putter is great. He's well-rounded in all of it. But when you come to Winged Foot, you got to make sure you get it in the fairway, and this guy's the best at it.
Another great driver of the golf ball is that Jon Rahm, who you talked about. He has also gotten to the #1 ranking in the world. In fact, in terms of major championships, only 2 men have been better in relation to par in the last 3 years than Jon Rahm. That's Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson. That's pretty good company. What will allow him to potentially break through and make this his first major?
Well, his win at the BMW on a golf course that's very similar to Winged Foot. The rough might not be as high, but it was as challenging a golf course as the players had faced all year long. I like his chances here because of that success in the playoffs.
Justin Thomas is always an interesting case as well, brilliant with the irons. In fact, he was the #1 player this year in terms of proximity from 125 yards to 150 yards. And since the restart, he was the best in strokes gained approach. So with Justin Thomas, is that good enough to make him a major champion once again?
He can be a little errant with the driver, but the thing that I think that Justin Thomas or allows him to feel like he can win this, he's great inside of 100 yards as well. One of the most underrated wedge players on the PGA Tour, and the putter is starting to cooperate.
Of course, Rory McIlroy, it's been a 6-year drought for him winning majors, but always, when you get the driver in his hand, he is spectacular. In terms of players, strokes gained off the tee in the last 3 US Opens, he's been the best by a wide margin. Is that going to be enough for him to overcome the sometimes slow starts he's had getting off to major championships?
With Rory McIlroy, it's all about the putter. Look, he's one of the great players on the PGA Tour, and the start that he had at the beginning of this 2019-2020 season would have indicated, yeah, this is going to be his year. However, stop down with the COVID, a little bit more attention to the putter. It hasn't quite kicked in just yet, and what will be interesting to see is how he does on these greens, which at Winged Foot are very, very challenging.
Who are some of the dark horses that you think might be able to play well here at Winged Foot?
Patrick Reed is a guy who I'm looking at. I've seen him swinging here on the range. Beautiful motion, trusting what's going on. Excellent open-faced player, loves hitting those flop shots and loves being in New York. And by the way, don't forget, this is one of the best putters on the PGA Tour, year in, year out. Wonderful short game. I love Patrick Reed this week.
That's the truth from Michael Breed, and of course we are powered by Cisco, and of course the numbers never lie.